How you doing, YouTube? Matt with Massive Beer Reviews, back with yet another review. And, it is a Frankenstein-y kind of monstrosity of beer blending kooky madookiness, because those are words, in the form of Russian Duck Brewing's Part 5. I actually don't know if I've reviewed the Part series from Russian Duck. I'm pretty sure I have. Don't know if I actually uploaded one. Sometimes my camera, actually about a year or so ago, my camera failed and I lost a whole bunch of reviews. Super bummed about it. But my computer actually drive failed, not my actual camera. Anyway, this is part of their Part series. It started off as an anniversary one, I believe the second anniversary, but then they just started kind of accelerating earlier than that because they're doing like a multi-beer, multi-barrel aged blend. For these now. So there's a whole bunch of moving parts going on. But I picked this up in January. I believe it was released January this year, January 2017. That gives it right about 6 months. Figured it'd be right in its sweet spot. I'm in the mood for a nice, big, robust beer. So, yeah. Let's dive into it and see what she's got. I actually have a research for you. I looked it up. There's a lot of stuff going on and I can't remember all of it. It says their Part 5 series is a blend of a quad and bourbon barrel aged quad, sorry. That was 1 year in barrels. This is their Dead Morose, which is a Russian Imperial Stout and bourbon barrels, 1 year. And Imperial Nimpopsicle. I forget what that beer is, actually. I say it might have been a barley wine. Oh, yeah, it says right here. It says 1 year in bourbon barrels, 30% barley wine brewed exclusively for aging in bourbon barrels. That's actually separate, so I don't know what Nimpopsicle was. And they did just a base barley wine, a 13% barley wine aging for bourbon barrels. And they go through tasting notes. So, a lot of moving parts in this one. A couple, I've had the Nimpopsicle. I'm having a hard time saying that one. I don't remember much about it. I had it actually in a taster at the brewery. Dead Morose I've loved. Their base quad, I believe I've had early iterations of it and really good. So, yeah, just a lot of moving parts. Listen. Are you going to be able to get this now? I don't know. You might find it in a bottle shop in and around Orange County, New York. But I'm in the mood for a beer. I'm going to review it, and here we go. As far as what it says in the bottle, it says Barrel Aged Blend Part 5. Age and Oak, 5-cent return on the side here. It says Russian Duck is a small family-owned brewery in Orange County, New York. You're dedicated to brewing full-flavored and forward-thinking beer. And that be that. The label is an homage to Friday the 13th. Jason, Friday the 13th, the homage, a whole kind of poster series, and I believe, I know it's kind of weird and hurtful to say, but I'm not a horror junkie as 98% of the people in the world are, but I believe it's an homage to that, so you horror junkies freak out over the labeling. Let's crack this open and see what she's got. Nice little hits on there. You're talking about so many moving parts, so many barrels, so many moving parts, that can sometimes be scary, not just for a beer drinker, but for a brewer, because a lot of things can go wrong. We'll get into that. Pinky Finger, just south, malted malt ball in color, just north of khaki. Pretty thin head on it, tight, compact bubbles, and she's got a nice, beautiful, where I want my barrel-aged quads and barley wines to lean, kind of dark murkiness to it. So, she looks the part. The head is coming off a little bit thin. That doesn't excite me all that much. You want this kind of fluffy creaminess, but hey, the beer's awesome. That's all that matters. See if we can get a nose on her. Soft charred caramel bourbon sugar daddy chocolate. That's pretty much what I'm getting there. Soft barrel char. Nothing too jarring, nothing too in your face. A little bit of smoke to it, a little bit of kind of burnt, kind of charry woodiness to it. There's that sugar daddy, caramel, slightly datey kind of thing going on. The bourbon is definitely there, but it's definitely not boozy. The multiple iterations of this being in different kind of beers and barrels, combined with the time that's sat for about 6 months, kind of probably put the kibosh on that. It's just got that nose that I really covet when it comes to these big, dark barrel-aged beers. It's that sugar daddy wrapped in molasses, wrapped in chocolate, wrapped in, a little bit of date figginess. Just all the things I really enjoy when it comes to the barrel-aged nose. Big, sweet, candy-like, but at the same time, you do smell beer in there. It's not necessarily a barrel or a bourbon driving that nose. If you're going to have strictly bourbon, strictly barrel, it's going to come off smoky. It's going to come off a little bit sweet, a little cherry, a little bourbon, with those kind of dates and figs and that sugar daddy vibe. That's that beer kind of driving that note. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say you get hops out of it, obviously. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm getting a ton of malt out of it other than malt sweetness, but it is a beer in a bourbon barrel. It's a lot of beers and a lot of different bourbon barrels. So she smells absolutely fantastic. The beers that I really like when it comes to barley wines. That's what we're going to err on this one. This is more barley wine than anything else. So just going to dive right in, see what she's got. Cheers. Yeah. Sweet. Toffee. Sugar daddy. Fig Newton-y goodness. How about that one? I'll throw a little Fig Newton at you for fun. There's a little bit of heat there. But absolutely forgivable. And the heat for me comes from a little bit of kind of a heartburn kind of thing when it goes down. Not necessarily like an overt burn up in your kind of like nostril kind of area, but it's kind of like, okay, this is going to give you a heartburn kind of burn. Nice mouthfeel. Nothing too super overtly dense, but you're talking about multi-barrel aged beers over multiple variations, multiple years being blended together. It just comes together so well. The mouthfeel is, like I said, it's not the best thing in the world, and that's kind of where the head kind of threw me a little bit. I'm like, oh, the head looks a little bit thin, a little bit too thin for me. And I got a little worried because so many different beers, so many different barrels being blended together, so many moving parts. I've talked about it ad nauseum before. So many moving parts in a beer, more things can go wrong. Less moving parts, less things can go wrong. So when you're looking at a thin head and a multi-varied beer, multi-barreled beer, your brain kind of skews. Oh, maybe it's turning, but it's not. It's absolutely delicious. No hint of any kind of turning. 6 months later, absolutely would have turned by now. Yeah, soft caramel, sugar daddy, toffee, diggy goodness is basically what we have in store. The barrel's represented well. There's a little bit of smokiness in there. Tons of vanilla. That beer comes through. That kind of aged, kind of barley wine I covet with the dates and figs and that kind of toffee thing going on there is represented really well. You get a little bit of that sweet bourbon. You get a little bit of sweet, subtle sweet, kind of cherryish, dark fruit, generic dark fruitiness. And it just drinks really well. Sends that little tinge of heat that gives me a little bit of heartburn, but I think people who aren't prone to heartburn probably would skip that. They just get a slight heat on the swallow, and that's pretty much it. Aging absolutely beautifully. I think this is in for the long haul. You know, if you have a bottle of this or you see a bottle of this, and whether it be now, which is the middle of July 2017, or in the future, I think it actually is something that'll stand the test of time and last pretty damn well. I mean, it is capped. It's almost something you want to see waxed for the sake of, or some kind of additional sealing on it, because I believe these series can hold a test of time. So caps, they work if they're done right. And, secondary, if you're going to go into it in the long haul, write your dates on your bottles. Get yourself a wax pen. A little advice. Get yourself some electrical tape and just seal the shit out of those motherfuckers. Doesn't sound like much, electrical tape, whatever, but shit tends to work. So the best you can seal them. If you want to go the extra mile to actually wax them, you can do that. But that heated top for a while kind of bugs me a little bit. But yeah, absolutely delicious beer. Worth the probably, I forget what it was, probably like $16 when it came out, and it probably sat for a couple weeks at the brewery. No one waited in line for this. Maybe first day. But only just to be like, I love Russian Duck and I want to go there and I want to pick up some beers. But yeah, it's one of those beers that probably should be waited in line for, which means I should not ever post this video because I don't want people to wait in line for it for my own personal selfish reasons, but I'll let people out there know, and then people wait in line and I won't get it anymore and it'll suck for me. Anyway, it should be one of those beers. It's just that fucking good. So let's talk about it. It's one of the better blended barrel-aged beers. Let's just go that. I mean, I know it sounds kind of like pigeonholey, but there's a lot of beers that do that. Yes. It's delicious. It's right where I want my barley wines to land, even though there's a Russian Imperial in there and there's a little bit of quad there. It definitely leans barley wine for me. it's right where I want them to land. It has that toffee notes, the caramel, the date figginess in check. It has that sweet kind of subtly kind of dark cherry bourboniness. It has that barrel that is out of this world sugar daddy goodness with a little bit of a barrel chart to it. Just absolutely right up my alley. Value availability, like I said, $16, and you could have got it weeks after it released, so that doesn't suck. Like I said, there's bottle shops in and around the Orange County area. You'd probably be able to find this still, so take that for what it's worth and just say, if you like what, will you like this? Good beer. I feel like these kind of multi-barrel aged beers, your Firestone Walker anniversary beers, your Cane 5th anniversary beers, it's different than those, but the same kind of vein. It's not a Solero method beer, but it's a multi-barrel aged beer with really careful, concise, and give a shitability kind of barreling or blending to it, because for this to come off really well, it actually, there's somebody sitting there putting thought into how they're blending what to what, and whoever's doing it and knows what the fuck they're doing, because it's damn tasty stuff. So there you go, another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, down there, words and stuff. Massive Beers, all one word, all the social media outlets if you want to check me anywhere else. Trying to fuck with Twitter, but Instagram and Facebook are my jam. Instagram is my jam, Facebook second, Twitter and then Untapped I don't really mess with anymore. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a nice multi-barreled, multi-beard beer right now, and hopefully see you next time. Cheers.